I'm not sure what the question is there in terms of expertise in our staff or our ability to do it. Again, this is something that we would look to a consultant to complete, and particularly when you get into that larger amount for the detailed design, that is definitely something we'd have a consultant complete.
Further questions to staff? I have the recommendation that's on page 191 in my hand. Councillor Geisens has moved. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Height, thank you. I'm going through this quickly. Geisens has moved. Height has seconded that PW 1848 report be received as information, and that the Director of Environmental Services be authorized to execute a contract with Anderson Associates Limited for the consulting services for the upgrade of Booth Harbor non-municipal drinking water systems in the amount of $298,930, excluding taxes, which includes both phase 1 and phase 2 of the project. Further, that staff be authorized to proceed with phase 1 of the project. And further, that Norfolk County reserves the right to complete or cancel phase 2 of the project based on the outcome of phase 1, and further that the approved 2018 capital budget be amended to include $305,000 in order to complete phase 1 and 2 for consulting services for the upgrade of Booth Harbor's non-municipal drinking water systems. Discussion on this, Councillor Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm sure the answer is yes, but I'll ask Mr. Houghton this just publicly so that I'm reassured I'll sleep better tonight. Even though this motion would award the entire consulting project to R.V. Anderson, should council, based on phase 1, decide that it's not practical to proceed with phase 2, there would be no expectation whatsoever on the part of R.V. Anderson that they're somehow entitled to some amount of money over and above the phase 1 $25,000?
Through Mr. Mayor, that's true.
Okay.
Thank you. Councillor Height.
Mayor Luke, what we've been asked for is to provide some options to people that are struggling with water in this county. Okay, 100 homes. Okay, does Simcoe pay for all of Simcoe's water supply and expenses? Does Port Rowan? No, you're thrown all in the same pool. So should someone in Langton be paying, or in another ratepayer be paying for the work that got done in Dover under the roads? Absolutely they did. It wasn't done under the Local Improvement Act. What we're being asked from our constituents is to give them water that they can depend on. That's it. They prefer more than 1 pound of water pressure. Whether the fees or whatever it will be, that'll be up to them to decide. I find the fees ludicrous and absolutely ridiculous, Mr. Mayor. I was speaking with a plumber over the weekend of this, and he's a very big contractor, and he laughed so hard he almost fell out of his truck. They already have pipes in the ground. They just don't have the pressure, and they need the pipes replaced. Our municipal water goes right there. I know the area quite well. And yet, $273,000 for a drawing. It is what it is, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Brunton, then Black.
Your Worship, I'm having a hard time with the approach of this thing, and I don't want to get into a debate about it, but last week we told 3 residents on Wellington Ave, or Wellington 3rd Ave, here's 4 options, here's what they're going to cost, done by our staff, I assume. You're going to pay for it if we go ahead. Now we're coming into this one here, and it's not rocket science to give these people some indication. Have they been told at any point they're going to pay for this? Because if we spend $300,000 on engineering, you can bet the whole system's going to cost at least another $300,000 to put it in. $6,000 a person. If they know that, maybe they'll say, "Had enough." The whole approach is backwards to me. Thank you.
Councillor Black.
Well, I'm going to support my old football teammate on that, and I agree. The approach that we're taking, because we have had different approaches in Simcoe. Councillor Brunton's just cited the one that we did last week, and Glendale Crescent. The people in Glendale Crescent They had public meetings there, and they gave them options of what they could do for our water supply. And it was costed out. They were told that if you had municipal water, it would cost X amount of dollars if it came straight up Norfolk Street, or a certain amount if it came down the 14th Street West. And then they also had the option of digging a well, and that was costed out. And immediately, upon seeing the cost of digging the well at, I think it was $5,000, the whole meeting ended. And the next day, contractors were up there digging wells.
Anything further from anyone? You've heard the motion. Call the question. Those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. Page 197. This is the county CAO's report 18, sure if it's 1828 or 29.
Supposed to
I
be
got-
29.
Is it 29?
The
That's,
last agenda.
that's okay. It's 1829, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Cribbs, please.
On an evening when council learned it had a $5 million in the red issue last calendar year, it's my pleasure to come and ask you to spend more money. 5.6, beg pardon. 600,000 between friends. And if that's true, 50,000 is a deal. It is a serious matter at hand. To reiterate, there's a low probability of serious harm resulting from the existence of this well, but it is not a zero probability. The Corporation of Norfolk County is responsible for this well. We believe that $50,000 or slightly thereunder will get this well fixed. And since although it's an extremely low probability, the impacts would be potentially significant to either the largest or second largest employer in the area or the water supply system. We feel this is an appropriate use of resources because it's a potential threat to the water supply system. We feel it's appropriate to take funding for remediation of the well from the rate budget. So we're not asking for a levy increase. It wouldn't directly come from local tax base. That reserve is in the black. So accordingly, that seems like the appropriate place to take the funding if council so approves. This is, we believe, an appropriate precautionary measure in the interest of public safety. And on that basis, you have the staff recommendation as before you. I'm happy to take questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. On this report, questions at this time? I see Councillor Height and Brunton and Columbus.
Thank you, Mayor Luke. I'm just wondering if this can be done under the Local Improvement Act. I am kidding. I am kidding. Appreciate the good job in bringing this forefront, Mr. Cribbs, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, Councillor Brunton. Actually, I have a seconder, but I will put you down as the mover. But I will go now to Councillor Columbus for debate or questions to staff.
Yes, it looks as though there's a body of water on the site. Is that right?
Yes.
According to the map?
There is water present. I don't know if it has a name.
Oh.
Perhaps
Okay.
someone with more local history would know. I'm seeing lots of head shakes. I'm going to go with no.
It's an old quarry, a pit hole, just like Waterford Ponds, right beside
So
it.
has there ever been any thought about selling this property as a building lot?
Mr. Fields isn't here this evening, but I feel compelled to state, based on conversations I've had in the past, that this is contiguous or contains some of the underground aquifer that feeds the wells that provide drinking water to everyone here in Simcoe. So we would be strongly opposed to such a move were it to be seriously considered.
Anything further? It's been moved by Councillor Brunt, seconded by Councillor Oliver, that this report on the Simcoe area gas well be received as information, and that County Council instruct the General Manager of Health and Social Services and the General Manager of Community Services Division to take the appropriate steps to initiate an RFP process to contract the services necessary to remediate gas well T005664 located at the municipal address of 265 14th Street West, Simcoe. And further, that the approved 2018 capital budget be amended to include $50,000 to cap well T005664 with funding to be provided from the rate-supported operating budget. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Mr. CAO, for the report. I'm going back now to page 127, our last staff report is DCS 18-74. This is the Lake Shore and Riverine Flood Hazard Study. And Pam, can I turn this over to you to deal with, please? Thank you.
Okay. This is a report where Norfolk Planning are asking Norfolk County Council to support a project to update floodplain mapping in the watershed's most vulnerable damaged centers. So the Federal National Disaster Mitigation Program announced that it would contribute 50% towards the cost of updating flood mapping, flood mitigation planning, and small-scale mitigation works. The final intake for the applications is due to MMA through LPRCA on September 14th, 2018. If approved, the project would update flood and erosion hazard mapping along the 90-kilometer Lake Erie shoreline in Norfolk County. And the project would commence April 1st, 2019, and it would be completed by March 31st, 2020. MMA requires that conservation authorities to partner the municipalities to undertake the projects. In Norfolk County, Lake Erie shoreline was last investigated and mapped in 1988 and 89. And from a land use perspective, this 30-year-old information is very challenging to work with daily. The total estimated project costs $250,000, and LPRCA is seeking a total Norfolk County contribution of $96,200 for this project. And this would equate to $48,100 in both 2019 and 2020. So Norfolk County Planning staff are recommending that Norfolk County support the financial contribution of $96,200 over a 2-year time frame to assist in conducting a Norfolk County shoreline flood and erosion hazard study. And Lori Minchell from LPRCA and I are both here if there's any questions.
Thank you very much. Questions, Councillor Black?
Yeah, just looking at the recommendation, and the second one says update floodplain mapping in the watershed's most vulnerable flood damaged centers. Just, could you give me a couple of examples of where that might be?
Well, the largest flood damage centers are Long Point Settlement Area and Turkey Point. Then after that, Vienna in Bayham, Tilsonburg, Simcoe, Port Dover, Jarvis. So those are the most flood vulnerable areas in the watershed. We have a second application that would cover those kind of watershed, internal riverine floodplain mapping, ones that the Conservation Authority will fund under general levy. And then because this is the last intake, we also want to make application to cover off the Norfolk shoreline mapping, which is the subject of this proposal. The Haldeman shoreline floodplain mapping study was approved in 2017 and is underway.
Councillor Oliver, then Columbus.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I apologize to Lori and Pam for having my back to them. One of the things that I think this project would accomplish that would be beneficial to us, in addition to having the updated mapping, and there is a question here, Mr. Mayor, to Lori, is that I assume there would be many spot elevations taken. I think they call that total station elevations taken as part of the background work. So in other words, we would have a good indication of elevations, for example, throughout the Turkey Point settlement in terms of our previous study around looking for evacuation locations or assembly points in the event of flooding. Am I correct in thinking that, Lori, that it will provide that kind of information in addition to actually plotting the lines of flood levels?
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. That is one of the purposes of the study, is to get that information.
Thank you. Councillor Columbus.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to move the recommendation as printed in the report. This did receive approval at the LPRCA meeting, and as has been mentioned, it's the last opportunity to submit it to this federal program for funding. And they are using a high-tech imaging called LiDAR. I don't know what LiDAR stands for, but Lori knows, I know. And it will better define the lines that planners need in vulnerable areas like this. And we've had many times developers at the LPRCA and even at this podium have told us that the 1989 information is not that accurate, and they would like to see something much more accurate, and hopefully this LiDAR system that other planning areas are using would be a much benefit. So I will support the recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor Brunton.
Just very quickly, Lori, the LiDAR information, is it available now, like through M&R, or who did it? M&R?
Well, Ministry of Natural Resources for OMAFRA, I believe, but it has been flown. There are pieces of it that you can see now, and they expect that it will be available to us by the end of the summer.
Okay.
So it's also being used for the Haldeman project.
Yeah, and
So
you indicated there's probably, if we RFP this, there could be 3 or 4 bidders that are in this type of work?
yes, I expect that there will be 4 at least, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Black.
Do you have a seconder for that? Or?
Well, I got it all down.
Oh, you got it there?
I'm,
Okay.
just a little step ahead of you tonight. Not always. Councillor Geisens has moved. Councillor Brunton has seconded that this staff report be received as information that Norfolk County supports the project to update floodplain mapping in the watershed's most vulnerable flood damage centers, and further that the county support LPRCA in making application to the National Disaster Mitigation Program for funding to update riverine floodplain mapping, and further that the expenditure of $48,000 be deferred to the 2019 and 2020 budgets to finance the Norfolk County shoreline flood and erosion hazard study with funding to be provided from our tax levy. Any discussion on this further? If not, those in favor? That is carried. Lori Minchell, thank you so much. I know it's been a while waiting to get to the table, but we appreciate your input. Thank you. I'm going to do the bylaws, and then we're going to do the closed session, and then we'll come back for, of course, other business and confirming bylaw, time permitting. We have 9 bylaws. Note that the 9th one is on your addition to the agenda. It has been moved by Councillor Oliver, seconded by Councillor Geisens, that bylaw 2018-65 being a where am I going here? Oh boy, I tried to end that meeting a little too quick. My apologies. Okay, moved by Councillor Oliver, seconded by Councillor Geisens. The bylaw 2018-77 to bylaws 2018-81 inclusively, and bylaws 11 OP 2018, bylaw 12 OP 2018, bylaw 46Z 2018 to bylaw 48Z 2018 inclusively be passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, and affixed with the corporate seal. Any discussion on the bylaws? Those in favor? That's carried, thank you. We dealt with item 14, there's no notice of motions tonight. Okay, so we'll go to our closed session portion of the agenda. It's been moved by Geisen, seconded by Oliver, that council move into closed session at 7:15 PM to discuss matters pursuant to sections 2392B C and F of the Municipal Act 2001, SO 2001C 25 is amended as the subject matter pertains to advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications for that purpose, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, and advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications for that purpose. Those in favor? That's carried. I do not know how long will be. My suggestion is 45 minutes to an hour. I do not know.
Strip of sandy soil, like a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, South Coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why I love it here, and I'm proud to call it our own. Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Like our kids that go and see the world, take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world, and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road, and come to be back for home. Norfolk, my southern county home. Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. With hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals. With hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just a place for you. Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Norfolk, sandy soil. You won't be a stranger along. It's Ontario, South Coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Take in the small town atmosphere, be be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my Southern County home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. With hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, the Southern County home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Norfolk, 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 you won't be a stranger long. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a Southern County home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of North On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know. And it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here, and I'm proud to call it our own. Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Like our kids that go and see the world, take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world, and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road, bound to be back for more. Norfolk, my southern county home. Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger alone. With hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all. With hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just a place for you. Norfolk, our southern county home. Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Norfolk, sandy soil. You won't be a stranger along. It's Ontario, south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road, bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, my southern county home. Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. With hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Norfolk, 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 you won't be a stranger along. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario's south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of North. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here, and I'm proud to call it our own. Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Like our kids that go and see the world, take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world, and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and to be back for more. Norfolk, my southern county home. Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger alone. With hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals. With hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just a place for you. Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Norfolk, sandy soil. You won't be a stranger along. It's Ontario, south coast, you know, and surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Norfolk, 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 you won't be a stranger along. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger along. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of North On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, South Coast, you know. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario, South Coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here, and I'm proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Southern County home. Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk from Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Like our kids that go and see the world, take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world, and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road. I'm to be back for more. Of Norfolk, my Southern County home. Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger alone. With hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals. With hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie Beaches, Carolinian Forest, where the flower and dog